You're listening to the Why Boarding School podcast, broadcasting around the world. Join us as we promote independent boarding schools throughout the United States and Canada with our invited guests. Now, here's your host, Dr. Jeffrey Quebec.
Welcome to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec. And today I'm joined by the Director of Enrollment Management at Solebury School in New Hope, Pennsylvania, Scott Eckstein. Welcome, Scott. It's great to have you here today.
Thanks, Jeff. It's so good to be here with you. I love doing this. I'm so excited to join you for this.
All right. So with a unique history dating back to 1925, including eventually becoming one of the first co-educational independent schools in the country, Solebury School seems to have remained true to its mission. Scott, perhaps you could start off by giving our audience a brief overview of the number of students at Solebury School, grades you offer, where they come from, et cetera.
Sure, absolutely. So Solebury is a small progressive boarding school, about 260 students. About half of those are boarding students. Our boarders come from 13 different countries this year and 16 different states, and are just a wonderful group of kids. And I'm just proud to be here.
That's great. So Scott, what's the academic curriculum like at Solebury School?
Yeah, it's so it accommodates the level of challenge a student is ready for, right? So if you're a student whose intelligence, whose drive, whose work habits all merit you taking 4 or 5 AP classes, honors and AP classes, we can absolutely do that. And we have some kids who will do that and go on to apply to the highest schools, the most competitive schools in the country. If you're a kid who should take a couple or a few AP courses, that's great too. And if you're a kid who maybe should take none, that's a perfectly legitimate path here too. And we can do some academic support for any of those groups to allow them to be successful with whichever path of those they choose. It's really, again, as a progressive school, we really prize that idea of individualism and what can we do to allow you to have the best intellectual academic experience and to grow as much as possible.
So Scott, you mentioned academic support. Can you talk a little bit about the learning support program that Solebury offers?
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes in a few different flavors. The main one we offer, and first of all, we've been offering learning support, some form of it, for about 40 years now. So we are a school that believes in that all kinds of kids can be really good learners, and that a school's job is to help figure out how to get a kid to help them maximize their talents, right? So what we've offered has evolved over the years. Right now, our primary program is called our Bridge program, which is an embedded period in a kid's day to provide executive functioning and organizational support, essentially to help them bridge the gap, if you will, between being smart and being a good student. I've been in education a long time, and the longer I do this, the clearer it is to me that those two things are not the same. And sometimes kids need a little help in terms of figuring out how to do school really well and maximize their intellectual ability. So that's our main one. We also can do some support for a kid with a language-based learning difference like a dyslexia, some targeted English support for that, and even some math support for a kid who maybe has a dyscalculia or something like that. But that executive functioning support is what our kids most often take advantage of.
It seems like something that you or Solebury School is certainly well-versed in, as you mentioned, having had this program dating back to the 1980s.
Yeah, no, it's something we take seriously. And again, some of the most creative, smartest kids I've ever taught are those kids. And the idea is that they can get the support they need while taking that level of class that's appropriate for them. So I still teach a little bit. I'm a history guy. I teach part of our honors ethics class. All our 10th graders do an ethics class for their history class, and I do part of the honors level. And every year I have kids in there who are in that level of honors discussion, but also do need a little help with the executive functioning and the work management. So it's not an or, it's a both if you want and need that.
That's great. Scott, can you tell me a little bit about the visual performing arts offerings?
Yeah, so we are certainly known as a school that loves the arts, that prizes them, and that feels that offers a great experience in them, And so there is a block in the day that is just for the arts, and whether that's visual arts or music or theater or dance or filmmaking, woodworking, metalworking, or applied arts, even like engineering, computer programming, video game design, like there's a whole slew of stuff you can take in that block. And they're really strong programs. So I mean, I would cite my own daughter as an example of that. She graduated in 22 and she is now at Wesleyan University doing a dual major in studio art and gender studies. How she's going to pay for anything in her future, I'm not so sure, but that's a different story. But she had a great experience here. She took a ton of art classes here, and it never kept her from taking that AP Calculus class or AP English that she was should have done and was ready to do. But the visual arts are certainly strong. New Hope, where the school is a historically artistic community. And the school, from its founding, has honestly always been dialed into that. So it's a beautiful thing, and we do think that, again, part of that progressive ethos, that being creative, having a little creativity in your day, makes you a better mathematician, a better writer, etc. So it's something the school's held to since its founding, really.
So, in addition to having a strong art program, are there any other special signature programs that are offered at Solebury?
Yeah, so there are a few concentrations. So our kids have the ability, if they're passionate about a certain area, to sort of delve into that really deeply, and experientially is a key thing, to do things outside of the classroom environment. So they are global education, social justice, STEM, and actually next fall, you'll be the first to know this, Jeff, Quebec, we're unveiling a fourth concentration in the arts. So those kids have the ability to really go deeply into an area of passion and do some pretty cool and creative work on their own. And again, I've got some personal experience with this. My son is a senior who's pursuing the social justice concentration, and his work has largely been involving human trafficking. He's got very passionate about the idea of human trafficking, and he's doing an independent study right now that's beyond anything I ever imagined myself doing when I was his age. So it's pretty cool.
That seems quite powerful for a high school student to be working on those areas.
Yeah, it's pretty neat.
So how about sports? Is every student required to play a sport? Sort of what are some of the athletic offerings Solebury has?
Great question. So like every boarding school, we have a mandatory after-school activity program, right? And
okay.
we ours works a little differently than some schools. So we love sports. Our kids work hard. You were talking about the arts before, and I think sometimes people misread us as being an arts school, and we're not. Like, we're a school that just feels the arts should be at least equal with athletics, right?
Or one that has a strong art program.
But yeah, exactly. And our athletics programs are solid. We're not churning out Olympians like some boarding schools, but they're good kids who play hard and get good coaching and compete really hard, and the school supports them fully. And our best athletic program is probably our basketball programs. Our cross country and track programs tend to be historically strong. Our volleyball program has really taken off, a girls volleyball program. But we're a school where, generally speaking, if you want to be on a team, congratulations, welcome to the team. We believe in that. A small size that allows that for kids to explore and try new things, and make a team. Whereas in many places, unfortunately, if you haven't been a lifelong devotee of the sport, you're out, right? And so at Solebury, you can play. And if that's not
because there's different levels within each sport.
There are a couple of sports with different levels. Honestly, it's because we're small, and so we offer, in the spring, for example, we offer track and field, golf, tennis, and baseball for the boys, right? And we only have 130 boys, so nice. To fill the teams, we need people to play. But we're a school. If that's not your thing, if sports isn't your thing, there are lots of other options, and so. You can do the play or theater tech or yoga or rock climbing or any number of things for your after school activity program. And again, that idea of individualism, like, we really want kids to discover the things that make them excited, that feed their soul, that provide them some joy. And so if that's sport, and we certainly have plenty of kids who play 3 sports a year, that's tremendous. If you want to mix and match a little bit, that's okay. If you're like my daughter, who, I don't know, maybe discovered she was allergic to sweating and decided that wasn't her thing, you can find all sorts of other things that are wonderful ways to contribute to the community and make friends and find some purpose.
That's great, Scott. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a break now, and then we come back. Let's find out more about what it's like to be a Spartan at the Solebury School.
Sounds great.
Do you have any questions or guests that you'd like to see on an upcoming Why Boarding School podcast? You can contact us directly through our website at whyboardingschool.com. Now, back to our show.
Well, welcome back to the Why Boarding School podcast. I'm Jeff Quebec, and I'm joined by Scott Eckstein, who's the Director of Enrollment Management at the Solebury School in New Hope, Pennsylvania. And we've been talking about all these strengths and beautiful opportunities for the students at Solebury. And so maybe we can sort of speak a little bit, Scott, or what's a typical day like at the Solebury School?
That's a great question. So we have structured our day in a way that we think allows kids to take on a significant degree of challenge when they're ready for it, but to maintain some balance in life and some good sleep and some other good opportunities, right? So our kids never have more than 3 academic classes a day. They meet for 80 minutes a shot, and so that allows for more group dynamic learning, some hands-on learning, some experiential learning, and it allows for kids, I think, to process things at a deeper level than if you're just on this sort of treadmill of 6, 7, 8 classes a day. And it also means that each class meets every other day. And so you always have a little bit of time to do homework in your day and to do the work that's assigned to you. And you never have more than 3 academic subjects of homework a night. So again, to be able to do your best learning, to really dig in, process, minimize that transition time that gets lost both during the day and for homework, and to get a good sleep. And related to that, our day starts a little later than a lot of schools, 8:30, 4 days a week and 9 on Wednesdays. So basically from 8:30 to 3:30 is that main academic day consisting of those 3 academic periods and that arts block I talked about where only art stuff meets. And there's time every day to meet teachers for extra help. There's time where we either gather as a community or you meet with your advisees. Powerful program at Solebury as it is at all boarding schools. And that gets you to 3:30. And then after that, you have your after school activity till about 5:15, dinner from 5:30 to 6:30, some good community events and time for our boarders to connect and do some fun stuff after dinner, before dinner and study hall. That stuff varies between all kinds of different things. And then study hall Sunday through Thursday night from 7:45 to 9. And then you have a little time to visit friends or hang out, do some work, whatever. Back in your dorm at 10:15 and lights out at 11. We are a school that does not have classes on Saturdays. Some boarding schools have classes on Saturdays, right? We do not. For us, weekends are for fun and recharging and community building. And so we have a full slate of trips and activities all weekend. And lots of good fun for kids to have. And certainly our location about halfway between New York City and Philadelphia allows for a range of opportunities in a way that's kind of unique among boarding schools, honestly. Just the proximity to civilization and to urban life and, with all the things we can do by going to Philadelphia and New York City.
So Scott, you mentioned the advisee system. Can you expand upon that? What is the advisee system like at Solebury School?
Sure. So each of us on staff has between 5 and 8 students who we oversee their lives. And it's everything from helping them select classes to managing a busy moment to, eventually supporting our college counseling team as they look at colleges to my dog died or I have a girl who likes me and I'm not sure they like me back. What do I do? Right. So it's all the above. And they're mixed age groups, which I love. And so I have 8 kids this year. I have 3 seniors, a couple of sophomores and juniors, and a couple of freshmen. And one of the beautiful things that I see all the time when we meet is, one of my 9th graders the other day was having trouble with their science class. And they were talking about it in our group. And one of my seniors said, I had that class. Here's what you do. And it was like God himself reached down and spoke to this young person. They were soaking it in with all their being. And I just sat there and loved it, right? I didn't have to do anything. And it was exactly the right advice. And they took it and ran with it, which was great. So it's a powerful relationship, the student-teacher relationship at boarding schools in general, if we're being honest, but at Solebury in particular is the root of everything. And certainly I love the way the Solebury dynamic is. Kids call us by our first names, and we think that provides a greater willingness on the students' parts to come see us, to talk to us, to share with us, to share their thoughts in class, to ask a question, to come for help, all the above. So certainly it's the foundation of everything that, I've loved about Solebury for a really, really long time now. I've been here. So it's the foundational element of all of it.
Very nice. So Scott, you mentioned the wonderful location of the Solebury School.
Yeah.
And with regard to weekend activities, can you expand upon a little bit of that in regards to the activities that take place, not only maybe on campus, but also off campus?
Absolutely. So, I was on duty this past weekend, as a matter of fact, right? And so we took kids into Philadelphia there were 2 trips, actually. One went to a college fair and one went to like a Cirque du Soleil production that we got tickets for the kids for. There was another trip to Princeton, and Philadelphia, just by the way, is under an hour from us, just about 50 minutes from us. We took kids to Princeton, New Jersey, which is a half hour, which is a lovely place to walk around. New Hope, Pennsylvania, which is the town we're in, is a beautiful rural escape town for people from New York and Philadelphia that they come to. And, kids love to go in and walk around there. There was a movie trip, and then there were a bunch of things on campus. So, like, I played Settlers of Catan with kids for a couple of hours on Saturday night, and I didn't win, which was really the only unfortunate part of the whole thing. They beat me, and I'm still a little mad about it. But they were great, and we had a terrific
There's always
time.
next time.
There is next time. I'm looking forward to it. So, it's just a lot of things. We're just an hour and 15 minutes from New York City. So, again, just the amount of things we can do are great. There was also a hike on Saturday, because we are in a beautiful area with lots of beautiful places to walk around. So it's just a range of things that we can do. And honestly, this past weekend was a great example of that.
So it certainly sounds like you're taking advantage of your surroundings.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So maybe, Scott, tell us a little about the meals in the dining hall and how that works. Are the meals sit-down meals? Is it buffet? Are they required?
So it's buffet, and kids can kind of come and go. We don't do sort of formal sit-down dinners a lot. We do a few sort of scattered throughout the year. But kids do have to check in at the meals. We need to see them being there, right? It's more of a come and go. And there's an indoor area and an outdoor area. Our kids like the outside, and the weather's been absolutely gorgeous here in the Mid-Atlantic this fall. So there's been a lot of eating and sitting and hanging out outside. But it is, breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Friday, and brunch and dinner on Saturdays and Sundays. The kids get to sleep in a little bit. I'm an omnivore. I'm the easiest to please person on food on the planet. But the food is really good. I think it's great. I can't wait to get to lunch today, and our chefs do a great job, I think, of providing a wide array of options to accommodate a variety of diets and tastes. And I think the kids eat really well. We all love it.
That's always important, having good food, right?
Amen. Maybe nothing more important.
And how about dorm life? What's dorm life like at Solebury School?
Yeah, so kids, the rooms are generally doubles, right? And I've lived on campus for 32 years now here, and have been a dorm parent. I live in a house now just about 100 feet from the nearest dorm with my wife and my kids. But I love living in the dorm, and it's a beautiful thing to be on campus, right? It's just a magnificent place to live and to raise a family. I think the dorm staff and all of us on campus, just love doing it and love being parts of the kids' lives and seeing them in the dining hall and seeing them around campus and having them over to our houses for various events, and it's just one of the things that makes it special, right? Is that energy, that family vibe that we have on campus in general that definitely carries into the dorms. That tight relationship between faculty and students is, again, the foundation of everything. But as much as anything, it's having that sort of family atmosphere in a dorm, and kids knowing there are people there who are there for them and looking after them and helping make sure that life is good in all ways.
So different styles of dorms, different styles of rooms, singles, doubles, triples?
They're really basically all doubles. I mean, we have our dorms have been built at different times, like lots of boarding schools, right? So we have one brand new dorm that is literally the nicest dorm I've ever seen, high school and college. It's a female identifying dorm. Okay. Those are all doubles with incredible common areas. Our main dorm for boys has sort of suite styles where two doubles share a bathroom. So 4 boys sharing a bathroom with huge common areas. And then our oldest dorm is a female identifying dorm that also has doubles. That's a little older and smaller, but it's still, really lovely, homey kind of place to be.
Scott, would you say, is there a typical Solebury School student?
I wouldn't. It's a really tricky question, right? So It's a pretty eclectic mix of kids. We really do believe in diversity. And so, about a third of our domestic students would identify as a student of color. And we have kids who, certainly march to the beat of their own drums, square pegs. We have a lovely group of those. I think we do really well with that kind of kid. And then we have, your very traditional looking kid who looks like they stepped out of a J. Crew catalog or whatever, right? So it's a pretty eclectic mix. I think what they share is a desire to be part of a tight-knit community where people truly care about each other and are kind to each other. I think they share a desire for intellectualism and sort of learning not by rote and not not in a traditional kind of way. I think they want to think and question. I think they value that. And I think they share a desire to explore. Those are sort of the trademarks of our kids. That comes in all kinds of shapes and sizes and colors and backgrounds. But I think those are sort of the unifying factors often.
So are there any cool traditions at Solebury School that may be unique from other schools? Or maybe perhaps, Scott, there's one tradition that you'd say, boy, I always hope this remains part of Solebury. It's so special.
Yeah. So, I mean, there are certainly a couple of great ones around sports, a homecoming soccer game and things like that for sure that I love, and I love going to those. So the ones I think of are the ones that sort of reflect that kind of family community vibe, right? And there are three that particularly come to mind, right? So one is our coffee house, which is a student and faculty open mic night that happens 3 times a year. And it's we have some really talented musicians and poets and people who can read poetry and sing and dance in these coffee houses. And they're magnificent. But the beautiful part of it for me is when a kid who is not great and just gets willing to try and get up there and does it and gets cheered for so loudly and encouragingly. That for me always seriously brings a tear to my eye because it just represents so much about the community. So that's one.
And what a nice confidence builder too.
Yeah, no, it's really a beautiful moment. The second one is 3 times a year we sort of shut down the dining hall and the faculty all cook food, and we sort of do a Borders food court. So we all make a bunch of food and the kids can come around. It's just sort of a nice night.
And what's your
faculty.
Specialty, Scott?
So I often do some grilled chicken. I like to do a lot of grilled chicken. I did sort of a Chick-fil-A slider mimic one time, which I thought was pretty good. Big ziti is easy because it feeds a lot of people. I usually do some combination of those couple of things.
Okay, nice.
Which is fun. Yeah, but that's always a good one. And then the third would be our house competition. So we divide the community into 4 houses. They're not physical. We don't have a Gryffindor common room like in Harry Potter or something, but it's a spiritual association and for good fun. And so, we do some house competitions throughout the year that are kind of camp-like, honestly. Like Solebury was founded on the idea that if school had a little bit of camp in it, like sleepaway camp, then kids would be excited by learning and learn better. And we've been true to that sort of through our history. And this is the modern sort of incarnation of it. And I think it lives wonderfully and kids get excited by it. I get excited by it. So some of those house competitions I find a lot of joy in and fun in, and sort of the good banter and competition. And that's always some fun moments throughout the year.
Yeah, very nice. So before we sort of mention anything in regards to admissions, is there anything about the Solebury School that we didn't discuss today that you would like to mention?
I think that the one of the things that makes Solebury unique among boarding schools, which sometimes can have sort of a stodgy kind of reputation and feel to it, right? Is Solebury is sort of allergic to pretentiousness, physically, culturally, and spiritually. So the campus is an old farm. It's a beautiful place. I'm in the original farmhouse building right now. That's where my office is. The theater is in the original barn. Like it's got a certain vibe to it that is, I think, different than boarding school than many boarding schools, right? And I think sort of a lot of the stuff we've been talking about, Jeff, the sort of first name basis, the camp-like thing, like a lot of that is sort of part of Solebury's allergic to pretentiousness. There's no dress code. Like it just sort of has that way about it, again, physically, culturally, spiritually, that I think when it resonates with you, it's incredibly powerful. It has for me. And so I think, that's why I keep returning and have been here for, God, it's like a third of the school's history now. It's becoming a number. And, I have former students, kids coming back and I'm teaching them. And I don't know, it's becoming a real thing.
You'll be eventually the school archivist.
They come to me. I'm the unofficial memory of the school. It's the institutional memory. It switched from a guy named Jeff Tilden, who is one of my mentors, and he retired a bunch of years ago. And all of a sudden I looked around like, they keep looking at me for these things. And it made my sciatica hurt a little bit,
So Scott, if someone's interested in learning more about Solebury School, would they start off by visiting your website? And what is that address? What is the website address?
Yeah, so it's www.solebury.org. That's SOLEBURY. And certainly that's a great resource. And there's a virtual admission center on there that I think has a lot of really interesting resources to help families who are looking from afar, right? A virtual tour and some recordings of virtual sessions to help you get to know the school. we're going to do a virtual open house. We do one every year, and so a couple times a year even. So that's a nice way to learn about it. Obviously, we'd love to have you visit, or I'm happy to get on a Zoom with anybody. But the goal of admissions really, in a lot of ways, is to help families navigate this process, right? So to help you learn about Solebury, for us to learn about you and see if it's a fit. And whatever we need to do that, we're happy to engage in.
Oh, this is great. Well, thank you very much. So we've been joined today by Scott Eckstein, who is the Director of Enrollment Management at the Solebury School. It's located in New Hope, Pennsylvania, and you can visit their website by going to solebury.com. Was it .com?
.org.
My bad. Solebury.org.
All good.
Awesome. This is great. Well, thank you very much, Scott. I really appreciate it. This has been awesome.
Thank you so much, Jeff. And to all of you looking at boarding schools, good luck to you, and I would love to talk to you.
All right, good stuff. Thanks, Scott.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Why Boarding School podcast. We look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Please remember to subscribe to the Why Boarding School podcast and help us spread the word. Until next time.